right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people, just like you right there, just like me right here. Sorry about the last video with all the audio issues there. Don't know what happened. You know, I don't understand technology, so that's probably what happened. I want to talk about Mick Jones, though. Mick Jones is kind of not going to be in Foreigner very much anymore. I predicted this a couple of years ago. I said I can't see this guy going on for very much longer. He is now 76 years old. Technically, Lou Gramm, who was in Foreigner, has retired, and he's much younger than Mick Jones. Mick Jones is technically the lead guitarist for Foreigner, but they've had the guitar understudy in the band for quite some time who does most of the guitar parts. I've been told that Mick will go out there for a few songs. He won't start the concert. He will enter and get this rousing round of applause. People will be like, hey, there he is. The people who know who he is. And then he, will do like 3 or 4 songs, and then he'll walk off stage to thunderous applause, and then the band will continue without him and do a very long set of classic rock favorites, okay? Now, people who are writing articles about Foreigner at this stage, if they're not old enough, and I don't say this as the guy on the front lawn, okay? Looking out at my beautiful front lawn, yelling at the children to get off. Hey, get off my lawn. But if you didn't live through, say, Foreigner 4, for the real old timers, if you don't, know about Double Vision, if you don't understand how powerful that debut record was, because it was, really Head Games was kind of a disappointment. But when you look at the first couple of albums and then Head Games and then Foreigner 4, which is a masterpiece, right? But if you didn't live through that era, you really don't understand this band. And Mick Jones was really important. But when people write something like, and I'll read it to you because it's kind of sad, really. It is. Jones, who decided to meld rock, pop, and touches of R&B, crafted an array of hits. The prolific Brit doesn't receive enough credit for crafting. Actually, I think he does. I think people give Mick Jones a lot of credit. But this guy says something that ticks me off. Sure, original singer Lou Gramm's voice was a big part of the Foreigner sound. Wrong answer, try again. Lou Gramm's voice was essential to the Foreigner sound, and he co-wrote songs, but Jones was the sonic architect. I get it. Jones was really good in the studio. And I think Lou, who proved himself, especially when he decided to do his own thing and do a solo album, I would say Lou Gramm's first solo album was probably as good as any of the Foreigner records that were done in the 1980s, and better than Head Games, all right? Just saying. Lou Gramm knew what he was doing. And so to kind of minimize it and just give all the credit to Mick Jones, yes, I know. Mick Jones produced a lot of albums. 5150, he did a great job for Van Halen on 5150, no question. And I'm not saying Mick Jones isn't important. What's weird is, though, they're trying to kind of say, well, even though Mick Jones should get lots of credit, he's not in the band anymore. He's not showing up for gigs, and the band can go on without him because, he was the band. And now that Kelly Hansen is in control, and all of these members that were carefully picked, hand-picked by Mick Jones, that's what they say. Each member was hand-picked. You, over there against the wall. It's just weird how they write this stuff. I know some of it is just poor writing. and they want to try to excuse the fact that there are no original members in Foreigner. Is this thing on? I have to check. There are no original members in Foreigner. And some of us are sad. Some of us want there to be original members in Foreigner. Even if it's just like a ceremonial thing. Mick Jones comes out, does one song. His guitar isn't even plugged in, right? The other guy is playing the song. This happens all the time, by the way. You know, it looks like he's playing the guitar, but yet it's... And I'm not saying Foreigner does this, but I guarantee you there are other bands where the guy is at the soundboard gun. Okay, well, he's not actually going to play this, but he's out there and it looks like he's playing it, you know, or singing it. In the case of Kiss, for instance, looks like he's singing it, but he's really not. I just sense that this is all becoming a big joke, all right? Now, what's weird is that, you know, through the ages, like if you were a classical music person, you had an orchestra, you didn't have any vocals or anything. Well, you might have had a chorus, but you had an orchestra, and that music is timeless because different orchestras can play it, Tchaikovsky, Beethoven, whatever, and they can play it. And I think what these bands all want to do is basically the same thing. They want to create a new ensemble that can play their music forever and call it Foreigner. You know, like Beethoven didn't have that luxury, but he had orchestras in other cities and different places that, you know, hey, I'm writing this piece of music and here it is, and you guys play it. Now, the difference obviously is you need a vocalist who can pull it off, and it's got to kind of sound like the record did back in the day. And more often than not, these older bands are starting to fail. They're starting to fail. I mean, for the casual fans that are reading this article and that are showing up for concerts, they don't care. They don't care. They got their $14 beer. I say this all the time. They're happy. They got their QR code so they can get into the concert. Look, I did the thing. It doesn't work, but I did the thing anyway. And they're like, come on down. You know, you're the next contestant on. You've been had. You've been fooled because you're going to need another thing. And one after that. I've heard you're going to need like five of them a year. Look, my QR code. It went from blue to green. That means it's updated. It's exactly what will happen. So with all of that, it makes me want to just go watch a Foreigner DVD from like 1984 or something. To see the band in their prime, to see Lou Gramm, who was, yeah, kind of an important part of their sound, but not really that important. Mick Jones, here's a reason. It was a reason for what? Yeah, he was important, but you needed a band. All those original guys were really important too. They're not going to get any mention. Hey, Jeff Pilson is currently in the band, right? He's kind of an important guy. You could at least say he's important. He's in Foreigner. He's in Dokken. Jeff Pilson is such a... He's got his QR code. He's got multiple QR codes, Jeff Pilson. He is a very establishment rock star, okay? 1 foot in Dokken, 1 foot in Foreigner, and 1 foot, you know, at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's just sad. It's sad to see these guys all selling out. Oh, just do what we tell you. Anyway, I wanted to do a different video, kind of a fresh take on what I talked about this morning. But if you saw that video and you liked it, I'm sorry about the audio. That video is probably much more coherent than this one is. But hey, this is what you get later in the day with me, all right? I'm just not as focused. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and don't forget about Patreon. And yeah, Mick Jones, probably going to retire very soon. And you know what? I actually don't blame him. This way he doesn't need a QR code to get into his own show.